What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Coast to Coast. First and foremost, thank you all so much for your support on the last video. Our interview with Zach Randolph and Tony Allen truly means a lot. Keep showing support. Make sure to like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like that on the channel. Otherwise, going back to the video before that, we dove into the NBA trade deadline and all those moves that happened there, but what about the players that didn't get moved? In today's episode, I'll be providing 3 players that I think could be moved this offseason, or if not get moved this offseason, make a lot of sense to get moved down the line. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment what you think of these players I included and any others you'd include as well. Let's hop straight into this. Coming in at number 1 on my list of summer trade targets, and a name that should surprise nobody, is Phoenix Suns forward Kevin Durant. A name that was shopped during the past NBA trade deadline and was almost moved back to the Golden State Warriors in a 3-team deal that was later vetoed by Durant, allegedly. Durant's going to be a free agent in the 2026 offseason, and given how things went down this past trade deadline and the fact that the Phoenix Suns probably aren't even going to make the playoffs this year, why would Durant want to spend the rest of his career in Phoenix when he can go out and try and win one more ring to add to his Hall of Fame resume? Given that Phoenix doesn't have draft capital really going forward after they traded their 2031 pick and the situation with Bradley Beal and really no other young players on this roster, I think it makes sense for them to move on from a standpoint of the future. Therefore, in the terms of the potential suitors I see for Durant, it's 3 of the names that were thrown around when he was in trade talks the last few weeks, which are the Miami Heat, Houston Rockets, and Dallas Mavericks. A guy going into the twilight of his career at this point, he's still a high-level scorer that can contribute to a championship-level team. Therefore, there is one team that I think stands out, having the best package to go out and get him, the Miami Heat. In this proposed deal, I have Pat Riley going out and finally getting that whale that he's been looking for on this franchise for a long time now. Durant has seemingly been proposed as a fit on this team for a while, so I have the Heat sending over Andrew Wiggins, Duncan Robinson's expiring contract, Nikola Jovic, the 2025 first via Golden State, and 2 second-round picks to the Suns to get this deal done. While it may not seem like a lot, Durant is an expiring contract, so you have to factor that in there, and given his age. But for the Heat, they'll be able to pair Durant alongside the rising star Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and the other pieces on their roster, such as Khalil Ware and Jaime Jaquez. If this team can really turn it around and maybe add a few more role players, they could be serious contenders if things go right for them in the Eastern Conference in the 2025-26 season. While they may not have a short window to capitalize on Durant, I think it's a better case scenario than having the 3 players in this deal on their roster. As for the Suns, they're able to get a 2025 first that should be in the mid-teens and 2 second-round picks as well, and Wiggins, Robinson, and Jovic should be good rotational players to add to their team. While some may agree, some may disagree, a controversial pick that I have is center Joel Embiid from the Philadelphia 76ers. In terms of his contract, it's not great given the availability Joel Embiid has shown over his time in Philadelphia, as he's on contract till the 2028-29 season, where he has a $69 million player option when he's 34 years old that I doubt he declines. Otherwise, given that Tyrese Maxey's emerging as a star in this team and that the Paul George contract looked like it's going to age poorly, it would make sense to move off from Embiid while you can to capitalize and build this roster around Maxey going forward. In this situation, I have 3 teams that I view make a lot of sense to take a risk and go get Embiid, which would be the Chicago Bulls, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. However, there is one team that stands out to me with a lot of cap space to be able to make this move and try and get a new change of scenery in for Embiid that might be the best for him. With the Nets projected to have upwards of $91 million in cap space this summer, I have them taking a big risk and swinging for the fences by trading Cameron Johnson, Nick Claxton, the rights to Philadelphia's 2027 first, and 2 second-round picks to the Sixers in exchange for Joel Embiid. For the Sixers, they're able to get Joel Embiid off their hands with his contract only getting more expensive and him potentially becoming less and less available by getting 2 quality role players in Claxton and Johnson who can insert into their starting lineup alongside their promising young backcourt of Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey. As for the Nets, while this move might not work out, there is a chance that it does, and they're able to get that MVP level Joel Embiid back to pair alongside Cam Thomas, whoever they get with their first round draft pick this summer. While this deal is a risk for the Nets, they still have other draft picks to bank on in this deal, and they're not giving up too much, so it might work out for both sides if things go their way. For my last player in this deal, I have New Orleans Pelicans forward Zion Williamson, a name that has been floated around in trade conversations due to New Orleans' poor season this year. It might make a lot of sense for the team to move off Williamson if they end up landing within a top 3 pick to either select Ace Bailey or Cooper Flack. In that situation, moving off Williamson would allow for them to prioritize the young player while also having other guys like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy take elevated roles on this roster. In this situation, there are 3 suitors that I see making sense, with the Brooklyn Nets also being involved due to their cap space, as well as the Memphis Grizzlies and the Charlotte Hornets. However, there is one team that I think should put all of their assets in and swing for the fences to try and get Zion Williamson on their team and hope that a change of scenery, just like Joel Embiid, is what they need to get that Zion Williamson back that we all know he can be. In this proposed deal, I have the Charlotte Hornets trading Miles Bridges, Yusuf Nurkic's expiring contract, 2 first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps to the Pelicans for Zion Williamson. For the Hornets, they were basically able to get off Miles Bridges and 2 firsts and 2 swaps to be able to pair Williamson alongside LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller to potentially form one of the most intriguing big threes in the conference. As for the Pelicans, they get Miles Bridges to slot in at their starting power forward position, and Yusuf Nurkic's expiring contract could be a good trade piece in the 2026 trade deadline. With the 2 first-rounders and 2 swaps, they can focus on building around a young core with a veteran guard in DeJounte Murray and CJ McCollum potentially, with other guys like Trey Murphy, their potential top 5 pick in the 2025 draft, and other pieces. Thank you all so much for listening. Make sure to leave a comment down below what you think of these trades or what players you think could be in the mix to be traded this summer. Otherwise, take care. Cheers.